Hi guys, it's Sam here from Bargain.hunting.blonde, and today I am bringing you a Q&A video about my Hermes Spa experience. So if you have not seen my other video, I will link it down below, but I did send my 1973, yes, that's how old this bag is, Hermes Constance, or Constance as people say, Constance, bag to the Hermes Bag Spa. So that is me answering these questions, and I go through the whole story in that other video, but this is the bag that I did send to the Bag Spa. So these are in no specific order. They are just questions I've been asked about my experience. So first, and I have them written down, is do you have to have purchased the bag from Hermes? So the answer to that is no. I mentioned in my other video, I purchased this from a small consignment shop in Canada, actually, the Fine Studio, which I'll link down below. And so I did not purchase that bag from Hermes. Also was definitely, I was born like 20 years basically later from when this bag was made, so I was not even around when this bag would have been sold at Hermes. One thing I will say, and I will flag for everyone, is just because the bag does not have to be bought at Hermes does not mean that, let me rephrase that. If the bag is not bought at Hermes, or even if it's bought at Hermes, you need to make sure that you have made no alterations to the bag. So you need to make sure if you're buying a pre-loved bag that it has not had other work done to it at another location or another place that is not Hermes. So if you buy a bag and you'll see on different websites, they'll say repainted corners, that means if there is anything wrong with that bag, you need to send it to another third party and not Hermes. Hermes will not do any repairs on that bag. They want a bag that has had no alterations or repairs done to it by a third party because they don't want to be held responsible for those repairs. It makes sense. And it doesn't mean that you cannot get the bag that has repainted corners repaired. You can, you just need to go to more of a leather surgeon's, Rego Brothers, purse rehab, and not Hermes, because Hermes will not repair that bag. So, something to keep in mind. Second is what services are offered. So that is a very broad question. I personally had the repair and refinish touch-up service done that they recommended, which was, let me look, I have the receipt. I believe it was $355, or yes, $355. Then I had the replacement shoulder strap completely made to match the bag. That was $490. And then I had a repair that was the flap stitching and glazing. They actually redid all the glazing on the bag, but flap stitching and glazing was $226. So those are the three I had done. They do recommend to you what services they think you should have done. You don't necessarily get to tell them what you want done to the bag, but I do know, regardless of the services that they offer, they do not clean the interior of your bag. That is not something that Hermes offers. They offer a lot of other services, but bag cleaning is not one of them. So, something to keep in mind there. If you get a pen mark on the interior of your bag, Hermes is not going to handle that pen mark and will not be removing it. Next question was, do all repairs go to France? And so I mentioned in my video that my bag did go to France, but not all repairs go to France. Some can be done by their craftsmen in San Francisco. I also know New York has a craftsman as well. They can do some of the more basic repairs, but since I did need a strap made to match the leather of my bag, and the color, this had to go to France. And I do know that when your bag does need to be sent to France, that does obviously add a time to your repair time, as it has to be shipped there, worked on by an artisan there, and then sent back, versus a quicker repair that can be done in San Francisco or New York. I do also know that the smaller stores will send some of their smaller repairs to the San Francisco store or to the New York store. So it doesn't always go to France, but the bigger the repair, the more likely it is going to go to France. Timing. So I was told when I dropped off my bag with my sales associate, it would be about 6 months. I do know some people have had quotes for 6 to 9 months, and I have even heard a year. I've not heard of anything longer than a year. I really think it depends on what your bag needs done to it and what you agree when they send you back the quote of services they think your bag needs done. So if you are, maybe say they send back a really long list and you agree to all of them, that is going to take longer than you're like, oh, actually, I only wanted to have the strap replaced. So it's something to consider. That's going to factor into timing. Also factor into timing is where the bag is going, if it's going to France or one of the US locations if you are based in the US. I don't know if there are any other craftsmen who can do repairs in other countries besides the US and France. There might be. If you live in another country and you know if there is or isn't, please comment down below. I'd be super interested in that. I think everyone would be, because those are the only two I have heard of personally. Next is other options besides Hermes. People express that they would like other options because they don't want to wait. They don't necessarily love the cost of the Hermes repairs, though I think those costs are pretty reasonable compared to the price of a bag, especially considering I had to have a full strap mat, the leather mat and color matched for me, and then made for me to add to the bag. So there is that to take into account. Like I said, you can go to leather surgeons, Rago Brothers, Purse Rehab. I'm sure there are many, many others. Those are just 3 that I have used and I would recommend, and I'd feel comfortable with you guys going to them. They all have their different rules. I know leather surgeons is very similar to Hermes in the fact that if a bag has already had work done to it, most of the time they do not want to work on that bag. I think it depends on the bag and the work that has been done. Purse Rehab and Rago Brothers, I have not encountered that issue, but again, they do quotes and take bags on a case-by-case scenario. So keep that in mind as well. How did my SA take me bringing in a bag I did not buy with her for repairs? She did not care. I do buy a lot from her. I do only buy from her. She is sadly leaving. If you've seen some of my other videos, I mentioned it. And she has recommended me to another of her sales associates. But I just texted her and let her know I was going to be bringing in a bag at the next time we met up for repairs and wanted to look at some other things. And she was totally fine with it. Like I said in my last video, she took the bag, asked me, I think, had I ever had any work done to the bag, just because they won't take a bag that has it. I said, no, I haven't. She said, okay, sounds good. Let me log this in. Since it is a strap, I do think it's going to go to France, but they'll get back to you with the exact work that needs to be done, because the sales associates are not the repair team, so they cannot tell you exactly how much it's going to cost or how long it's going to take. They just give you like an estimate, of which mine was 6 months, and they'd be getting back to me, which they did in March, so that was like 2 months later, about what needed to be done to the bag. And then, do you have to do all the services they recommend? So I did do all the services that were recommended, but I found them very responsive via email, the repair team in San Francisco, to my questions about the services that were being done. As I mentioned in my last video, I just wanted to make sure that the color of the bag with the cleaning service and the slight recoloring service would stay the same. And so I had a couple questions, and she was very responsive. And then I just gave her the written, like, approved to do all services. But you definitely do not have to. If I had just wanted to do the strap and I wanted to not redo any of the glazing or the stitching or the recoloring, refinishing, cleaning, I could have just done the strap for $490. It's totally up to you on what you want to do repair wise, and they're going to respect your decision. They just tell you what they're willing to repair. So I could have been like, oh, I really want all the hardware on this bag replaced, and they would have seen like the bag and then sent me back, what they thought needed done was those 3 things, and that did not include hardware, so they were not going to be replacing the hardware. And that's fine with me. I think a little, like, as we know, this is how you open the bag, is the H buckle. It is going to get wear on it. It is just going to happen. It's inevitable. It's how the bag is designed. So that didn't bother me, but I think you can't really push Hermes to do the repairs you want. They just kind of tell you what they think should happen. And I know Hermes will also tell certain people, like, I wouldn't send this bag in yet for repairs, because some people, really want their bags to look 100% brand new out of box. And even Hermes recognizes that that's not really a thing. So if you come in with a bag that's not that old, that has like one little scratch on it that you can like barely see, they're probably going to tell you to keep using it and bring it back in for repairs later. So something to keep in mind. They want like a legit repair, not like, oh, I'm really upset about this one little mark on my bag. So I thought overall, I got a lot of questions like, would I do it again? Would I wait again? What did I think about pricing? One, I thought pricing was very reasonable, considering they literally made me a brand new strap. They reglazed the bag, recolored parts, conditioned it, redid the stitching on the flap. Like, they did a great job, I thought, for the price. Two, would I do it again and wait? Definitely. I will say, as you guys can see, that is, the Constance is not my only bag. I was not, without a bag for 6 months. I have many, many other bags to use. So to me, waiting 6 months, completely worth it. And Would I use the service again? Yes, I would. I found that it was great repair service. I love that after sales service. I thought they were so much nicer and more professional than any sort of work I've had done at Louis Vuitton. And you know, for my Louis Vuitton pieces, the work I've had done, I actually haven't even gotten charged for it because it's been like flaws. So, and even then they're kind of snarky that how dare you bring this bag back to us that's like damaged. And you're like, listen, I didn't do anything to the bag. I'm even willing to pay for repairs. Like, you don't need to be rude about it. And I felt Hermes was not rude about it at all. They love that you love their bags and want to keep using them and love the heritage behind them. So I thought it was a great experience. If you have any more questions, please let me know down below. Feel free to DM me. I'd love to talk to you about it. I did have some questions like, can you send in a bag to Hermes and then they like send it off to France for repairs? I don't know. I did not ask that because I am near an Hermes and I do have a sales associate. So I'm not exactly sure if they would allow that. I feel like they probably wouldn't, but you could always call the individual boutique and ask. If you know someone there, that might help. But any other questions, I am happy to answer them. I may or may not know the answer, but someone else reading the comments might know the answer. So let's discuss this. Have you ever sent a bag to the Hermes Bag Spa? Would you? Do you think those prices are ridiculous? Please let me know down below. If you want to see more handbag reviews, handbag reveals, handbag comparisons, please make sure to hit the subscribe button down below and the notification bell so you get notified every time I upload a new video, which is twice a week. If you want to see how I style my bags, please make sure to follow me on Facebook, Instagram, my blog, all of which are linked down below. Thank you so much for tuning in today, guys, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, guys!